And we are live early. I thought I'd start early just to mess with you all just a little bit. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner from the road here in Carlsbad, California. It'll be a little echoey. You're going to hear people going in and out in the background. It's just the way we're going to have to do it today. I will be heading home today, so I will be back in the studio tomorrow. I've got a couple of videos that I need to make to please the algorithmic gods, but more importantly, I have a lot to say about what's gone on over the last week. It's been, well, consequences of divisiveness. It's pretty much everything we've been talking about, and I mean everybody in and around the Fandom Menace hashtag, a loose collection of individuals united in the principle of respecting the fans and honoring the unity of fandom, which has been crushed, destroyed, pulverized by the establishment corporate overlords that we have been giving a lot of money to that we probably need to stop. We need to defund Hollywood, defund the BBC. Let's see who's here. Hello, everyone. Elizabeth, David Gannon, and Morier, the Anime Slayer, Brad DL, Apollimes Minion. I'm going to say that right one of these days. Yorkshire Lad. We love the lads. Tippy Tail McKitty. Meow. Rodney Rollison, Bastard, Jason Wiz1, Scott Murphy, Galactic Roamer, and a very loud truck decides to drive by right now. Diablo Dame, Audrey Schaefer, Metal Mario, Mutated Genome, Renee A, T-Tone, Tony A, Scott Murphy, The Ducks Abides, FM Vipera, Nick J, Audrey Schaefer, and a lot of other people. We got some wrenches in here too, and welcome to everyone. So let's, as people roll in, what we're going to talk about today, of course, is cancel culture. That's been, I can't say it's reared its ugly head again because it's always been around, but it has risen to ridiculous proportions over the last week. I mean, I'm sure since I started this live stream, 3 or 4 more Hollywood B or C list actors, probably from the CW, have been canceled, and more are to come. And the best way, it's like the movie War Games. The only way to win this game is to not play and to exit Twitter at this point. I you know, anything, if somebody really, it's been the best way to take out competition. That's what the Me Too era turned into, just ways to get rid of competition, the Time's Up era. This all gets co-opted by quote unquote bad actors. No matter how genuine your cause was in the beginning, when it gets co-opted, it gets lost. And that's what we're seeing play out in front of us over the last 2 weeks right now. And a lot of people are unhappy, and I always talk about the silent dissenter, and now apparently silence is violence. Not wanting to talk about politics, wanting to get away from it. See, that's the whole point of this. The comfort. Didn't Bad Robot say recently, they put out a statement, and a lot of it was just vague, ambiguous virtue signaling. I don't have a problem with most of it, but when you say no more white comfort, when you are very specific, when you are racial, that is, in your words, problematic, because you make luxury items like movies, comic books, TV shows, stuff that requires comfort. And people don't feel comfortable with their finances. There's a thing called consumer confidence. I hate the word consumer, but it is a saying. And that means somebody is comfortable enough to buy luxury items. As a former comic shop owner in San Francisco for 10 years, I was well aware that I sold luxury items that are the first to go at any sign of trouble. So you would think the best course of action right now would to be, I don't know, if you want to make a vague statement, you can denounce racism, which is obviously bad, right? So you denounce that, but you also denounce violence, which is also bad. Both are forms of tyranny, but they didn't denounce violence. and I'm talking about bad robots, specifically Disney, Sony. No, and they make a lot of money off of the fake violence they put in, which I have no problem with. I have no problem with it in video games because I'm an adult and I understand these things are fake. They're not real. Same as the fictional characters and how they identify. Those things are not real. What is real is unity. What is real is the unity of fandom, and that's what Comic-Con used to be. That's what the comic shop used to be, this little oasis where you didn't talk about politics and you just went and enjoyed comic books. Of course, there's political messaging in specific comic books, which is fine when it's done by somebody who's talented, who knows that we want to reach the most people possible to A, entertain, and B, make money. And usually, well, make money should probably come before that. But they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Yeah. Yes. You can't hear anything. Oh, shit. Hang on. Check. Why can't you hear anything? I'm checking. I'm checking. I'm checking. I'm checking. It says my mic is hooked up. My mic is on, so it might not be coming through. Hang on. Let me check. Let me check. I hear it. I'm hearing it through my, the audio level is 3 times lower than normal is. Then that might be my internet connection. Hang on, hang on. It's coming through on my, turn on your, the mic audio is low, and that must be, yeah, there's not much I can do about that. Hang on. I hear you fine. Yeah, refresh. Refresh. There we go. The sound is fine. The sound is fine. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I have a little thing called my YouTube Studio where I can hear myself. I hear it fine. Refresh. Hang on a second. Let me, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'll have to speak as much as I can. So where was I? Let's get to, there we go. Okay. I normally at 20 right now. I'm at 60. As far as what? Your volume level? Yeah, there's not much I can do about it. I am hearing it right now. I've got my I usually turn my stuff up pretty loud anyway, so. I hate listening to myself while I'm on. All is good, all is fine. Yes, all it requires is a refresh. The volume can't go up any louder, so turn it up. There's not much I can do about it. I'm on the road. I don't have my normal system with me, so I will do the best I can. Hail chat, thanks for letting me know. F is for fine. Get up on that mic. I'm getting up on it as much as I can. White low audio due to white privilege and sarcasm. Yes, indeed. So we have a bunch of actors from the CW who I honestly haven't heard of because I haven't watched much of it over the last few years, have been canceled of late. So one of them is over shipping people. This, I hope we see that as each day goes by, how useless Twitter is. I will be leaving Twitter probably sooner than expected. I have no use for it anymore. Every time I go back to it, I mean, it's pretty funny to see what Jeremy's posting and what Az is posting, but I have no need to interact with people who just simply are disingenuous. I cannot believe that people are that dumb. I generally believe I go to something more nefarious. Sorry, it's my jaded nature that people completely understand your humor. They completely understand sarcasm. They just want to manipulate the situation to help themselves feel better, to get that little dopamine rush that has been proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that's why people get addicted to Twitter and addicted to other things. That's what Twitter was made for. Jack Dorsey hasn't done jack shit to help his platform. The guy's a total jackass, and that was shown on Joe Rogan's interview when Tim Pool was there. Jack Dorsey is a partisan hack, and it doesn't, you can't have it both ways. And I think, unfortunately, the government's going to get involved with some of these platforms, and it won't be for the better, all right? I am not Mr. Let's regulate shit. No. Twitter created this problem. YouTube has created this problem where they have, they have decided to pick and choose who they want to suppress as far as speech is concerned. And we're not talking, listen, if they want to take something extreme off on either side and they're consistent about it, I'm for that. But where does it end? Where does it end? I understand you want to have an advertiser-friendly platform. I'm all for that. I do my very best. I think there's a lot of people out there who try to take advantage of it, but there's also people who lived well within the rules, and people you courted like Steven Crowder and, here on this platform and on Twitter. And Twitter is the worst. It's the most hypocritical. And listen, Twitter did serve a purpose. It did. And there was times where it was showing things the mainstream media wouldn't. And that's what sucks about this is Jack Dorsey. All he had to do was be fair, and he would probably be making more money. I think people are leaving Twitter in droves right now, and you can't really advertise on it. You can't really make money. It hasn't really been growing over the last few years. It's been very stagnant because of what's been going on. And we see these numbers that I bring up often, and you see the percentage of 30 to 35% pop up a lot. Like Kickstarter's revenue down 30 to 35%. You see that independent film has lost 30 to 35% of their audience. Well, that's the audience you have been alienating. Comic book sales down more than that across the board because you've been alienating your audience and not giving a wet slap about any comic shop owner, and the comic shop owners being complicit in this. So let's talk about my little comic shop adventure yesterday. I'm not going to name any of these shops just yet. So I went on an hours-long adventure to look for a comic shop that was open with Nerdrotic Jr. in the greater San Diego area, which has a lot of comic shops. And some of these shops were open prior to the beer bug. I visited 4, and out of the 4, 3 have, okay, by the way, I'm in a county that is open for business. You can go to, Lose Records is open, restaurants are open, flea markets are open. You have to wear a mask, you have to wash your hands, but they're not even really practicing social distancing. Things are open. So I went to 4 comic shops. 3 have not opened since the beer bug clampdown started, and it doesn't look like they are going to open. I went to a 4th that decided to be closed on Tuesdays. Now, I understand that owning a comic shop is a laid-back lifestyle. I used to get to work at the crack of noon. I get it. I understand. But if you've been closed down, and it wasn't your choice, for the last 2 to 3 months, here's what I would do. I'll use I statements. I would open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. if I could, 7 days a week. I would be in there from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to allow the most customers possible to shop at my store. It doesn't matter if I had new product or not. I have products sitting in my store. I would have a sale. I would have a 50% off everything sale to get people in that store and to get some cash flowing. And it would work. You've lost your weekly customer. You've lost your habitual customer. You still have product that people... I went to 4 comic shops with cheddar in my pocket, ready to spend money, and I was turned away from the one shop that was open because they're closed on Tuesdays. That's where I lose my sympathy for comic shops. Now, I know hashtag not all. There's a lot of people who have been doing a lot of things, not waiting for Marvel and DC and Diamond to save their ass. That is the true entrepreneurial spirit. Same with salon owners in San Francisco who still remain closed to this very day. They're having to do things to make money because the PPP money has run out, and Mayor London Breed doesn't give a crap about small businesses, female-owned businesses, and particularly an industry that is filled with LGBTQ members, alphabet members. And Mayor London Breed has decided to keep them closed during Pride Month. It's not a really good look. So a comic shop that turns a customer away with cheddar, with cash in my pocket. When you could have, I could have walked in there, I'd have been out of there in an hour, and you would have been very happy. It would have probably made up for your entire day. But instead, I'm just going to go back to Southern California Comics, which was open, by the way. They are open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. here in San Diego. They have the best back issue selection in San Diego, in Southern California. Jamie is there. Jamie Newbold, the owner. Go talk to him, put on a mask, wash your hands, go shop. That's how you support a comic shop, not with useless gestures or drawing covers or basically what is, pinup art and selling it on eBay so these comic shops get pennies on the dollar. You can go directly support them, and it would be a fair exchange. You give them cheddar, they give you stuff. That's what they want to do. They're not there as a charity. They're there as a business. And hail, everyone. Hail. This will be a shorter one today because I am going to be hitting the road. I am ready to go back. By the way, mission accomplished. Hashtag CalExit has begun. Our plan is in place, and there's a couple things we have to take care of. It's going to be a long process. It's going to take over a year, probably, to get it all completed, but we are well on our way to getting out of here, which sucks. This is where I was born and raised. I wanted to die here in California, and I'm hopefully, you never know. But I just got to get out of here now. I don't trust the government, never have really. And especially in San Francisco, where the numbers have been extremely low, remain extremely low, and businesses are closed down for another 6 weeks, salons in particular, which is where we made our most money. My wife had a very successful salon until it was forced to shut down, and we don't know what's going on. So hopefully, things change and it remains open, because it needs to remain open. Right now we have employees we need to pay that we want to keep employed, and London Breed is the only one stopping us right now. And as far as comic shops, if you can open right now, open. So back to that story. So we have 3 shops that are not open. It doesn't look like they're going to open. I went and looked on their Facebooks. They didn't say anything, so I don't want to say anything public because they might open up next week or tomorrow. But it looks to me like a lot of shops are not going to be reopening, and they're not going to make it public. And Bleeding Cool's not going to hear about all of it. So I think we've heard 12 have shut down, and it's probably going to be a lot more. Now DC has left Diamond. Who knows if Diamond's going to be able to survive this, and comic shops will be able to survive it. Yes, you got to order from one of 3 distributors. You can complain about it all you want. What are you not going to sell DC product? You're not going to sell Batman? Give me a break. And as far as AT&T is concerned, well, all their goodwill went out the window yesterday, didn't it? So I guess they removed Gone with the Wind from HBO Max. And I don't know if that's a permanent decision. I don't know enough about it. I saw Doomcock tweeting about it. That's about it. So I will also, when I'm out today, I've been filming some counter programming for Twitter, which is basically just me showing people going to work, me comic shopping, people going to the beach, counter programming to what the mainstream media has brought. And I haven't watched any news in the last 3 days. We did have a protest go by where I'm staying 3 days ago. It was a peaceful protest of about 100 people banging on some drums, and they were gone in 15 minutes, and everybody went back about their days. So normalcy. Seems things are escalating way too fast right now. As Sunny Man for $1.99. As far as Twitter, social media the mainstream media is concerned, it does seem that way. And it certainly will help them, won't it? They thrive on it. That's their business model. And I guess the best course of action is to, remain informed. Of course, you want to do that. But I think there are other ways besides the mainstream media. As a matter of fact, I know there are because I practice it every day. Thank you, Sunny Man. And listen, this fear porn that's been going on, we're seeing this is a result of people being locked down for 3 months. I'm not surprised this happened, and it doesn't make it any disappointing is not the word. I'm a little angrier than that about what the mainstream media has done to the public. 13th Warrior for $2. Riot videos are showing us the true man babies. There is no specific race to the rioters. They come in all shapes and sizes. And the looters, and I am certainly not conflating them with peaceful protests, which unfortunately it gets lost. It gets lost when they focus on the violence and not denouncing violence. Giant corporations not denouncing violence is the thing I have the biggest problem with. Steve Carter says my audio is very low. Again, I listened to it, and while it might be lower than normal, if you just turn up the live stream, it should be fine. It should be fine. Again, I can take a listen. I'm going to double check here again. Again, I'm on the road. I have a soundboard now. It's at home. And let's see. Oh, by the way, sorry about that. We want to show the chat. Give me just a second, folks. I am checking the audio. Yeah, it's a little low, but you can hear it. Right. Steve Carter, thank you again for the £2. C-Tab76 for $9.99. Just finished watching Az's last video. One post dropped the idea of him as Batwoman. The Bat Giggity would be very different with him under the cowl. It would be more entertaining and almost as funny, but intentionally funny instead of unintentionally funny. And we love Az. Hail Az. Friday Night Tights show last Friday was great. Please check it out on Nerdrotic Live. We had your boy Zach. I just finished recording the Super Chat Square Up. It will be up prior to me leaving. I will post it soon on Nerdrotic Live. That is my alternate channel where all the live streams go. So if you haven't subscribed there, please check it out. And also, when I import this live stream over there, I can boost the audio. Third Gunman for $5. I could buy a copy of Safe Space and Snowflake, but here you go. Haha. I appreciate it. And if it ever does come out in trade form, definitely, I would love to, like I said on Friday Night Tights, I want a diversity in comics, Comics Matter with your boy Zach signature, and I want it CG seed. Can they CG seed trades? I think so. They do it with books. So Dragon Valador X for $2. How's it going? Long time no see. How's it going? Yeah, I actually skipped a day of live streaming, and it will be back to normal. I have a very special announcement for tomorrow that will come a little bit later. I will be on somebody else's channel tomorrow talking about a great movie. Gender swap Mark Hamill looks like 80s Kim Cattrall. Modalicious, it does. I saw that deep fake or whatever thing, and I just saw it briefly. I saw a picture, and he does. He's got a pretty mouth. Thank you for the $2. Bird of Prey 5 Kapla for $5. Comment I got on HBO video. Watchmen is amazing as a single story if you judge it by its own, but I won't expect different from white entitled nerd. Watchmen is not amazing. It is poor storytelling by Damon Lindelof. As I stated, there's one episode that's pretty good, the 5th episode, but it's simply intersectional feminism, and it's exploitive, and it will be something to look back on. I mean, if they're canceling Gone with the Wind, So Watchmen essentially is hate to spoil it, but it's Dr. Manhattan comes back to give his powers away to a stunning and brave woman. That's all. And it's set up. It's set up to where if you criticize it, you're an hysterophobe, and that's not what it's about. It just was I didn't like it as a TV show. It could have been good. It had some potential there, and I was excited about it initially when I first heard about it. But yeah, and they didn't pick it up for a second season. So now they'll probably say it was one and done, and that's fine. They can say what they want. Scottish Nerd, thank you for the $1.49 phallic unicorn. I greatly appreciate it. Drake is 6 for $5. Razor, I just saw. Okay, Razor Fist has a brilliant new video on red/SJJ/MPC Hollywood self-cancellation culture. It really is stunning / cowardly how long Hollywood has been a POS. Hollywood has been doing this for a long, long time. Their politics have never changed. They just, since 2016, have felt very comfortable alienating a large portion of their audience because most of Hollywood did used to want to make money and entertain the most people as possible. And the genuine people, which there are some genuine people there, not many, not the ones in power, want to tell their stories to as many people as possible. And that's the best way to convey your message. Star Trek used to be the best at it, but Star Trek is nothing but pessimism now. They're rolling out the word optimism. My God, they say it 3 or 4 times per article. We just had a Jonathan Frakes article where he said he was asked to direct a Strange New Worlds episode, which I'm sure he was. And I'm very interested to see how this plays out, how it gets paid for, what Viacom CBS is going to look like in a few months, because I think we could have rebounded pretty quick from what had been going on prior to 2 weeks ago. And now, like I said, consumer confidence took a major blow over the last couple of weeks, obviously, stating the obvious. So, force majeure, look for that very, very soon at a theater near you. Scottish Nerd, thank you for the ice cream cone for $1.49. Sean Carter for $5. Hail, Gary, a road trip with your son. Wow, enjoy every minute of it and have some tacos on me. Cheers. Yes, I will be having one more carne asada burrito before I left, and some 3-rolled tacos with guacamole would be excellent from Juanita's. And yes, hanging out with my son, normalcy. It was very nice to do. It was very nice to do. And right now he is doing some schooling, some online schooling, because it doesn't look like he's going to be going to school this year in California. Jonathan Frost for $5. Hey, Gary, you moving to Texas, Fort Worth? Good option for growth. Austin, more sophisticated music scene. Yes, but it is too much like San Francisco. I don't want to leave one place for the other. We're going to probably be out in the country or the burbs, and that's where I grew up anyway. I'm not crazy about cities, never have been. They're okay. They're fine, you know. My clientele, my friends at the comic shop were great. I had no problem with them. Again, it was the unity of fandom, and we had people hanging out in the store for hours, just talking about comic books. Stay safe, my much older brother from another mother. Black Tiger 001, thank you, my Canadian brother, for 2 Canadian pesos. I appreciate it. So we've seen, especially with the cancel culture coming from shippers, which I can't say I entirely understand. It's funny, except for the actors this is happening to, and maybe they threw up some salty tweets a few years ago because they didn't really expect to make it big. But if you're an actor in Hollywood, if you have a Twitter account right now, you're crazy. You're just crazy. It's not even worth it. Is it worth your career? Is it worth your career? And there's so many people out there who will just destroy you at the drop of a hat, sleep like a baby. I mean, these people are miserable themselves, and misery loves company. Misery loves company. But yeah, let's go to, okay. So Bleeding Cool has an article out from Chuck Rosinski from Mile High Comics, who's all over the map with his opinion. He was anti-Diamond as hell a few years back. Now he's got a DC Sucks sale that's going on. and we will check this out. That's hilarious. Chuck Rosansky, he doesn't hold back. He doesn't hold back. So, Chuck Rosansky of Mile High Comics responds to DC Sucks criticism. Over the weekend, Chuck Rosansky of Mile High Comics launched a DC Sucks 50% off sale, detailing his issues with the decision of DC Comics to leave Diamond Comics distributors. As you can tell, he had issues. We all have issues, especially in the comic book industry. Other people opposed his issues, and now Chuck has responded to all those responses. And in a final plug for his DC Sucks 50% off crossover. As I am sure that you can well imagine, I had an interesting weekend after writing my DC Sucks column last Friday. As I fully expected, a slew of DC Comics fans took to profound offense to my calling DC's business management on the carpet for unilaterally deciding to abandon their 25-year relationship with Diamond Comics distributors. Well, Chuck, it was Diamond who decided that. Oh, my Lord. Stupid ad. Sorry about that. It was Diamond who decided that. It wasn't DC. Diamond stopped distributing comics, and then they stopped paying publishers. What are they supposed to do? Wait for Steve Geppi to get a loan? And then when he comes back and he's asked directly by Brian Hibbs about his solvency, he said, "We're great. We got an extension on our credit." Oh, that's great. Oh, awesome. I'm feeling really wonderful about that. And by the way, Marvel has greatly reduced their titles, and Marvel is now releasing comic bundles at Walmart that are variants that were 1 in 10 variants, 1 in 25, meaning they were incentives for comic shops. And then all of a sudden they're being released in bundles at Walmart, which I'm not against, but as a comic shop, I'd be pissed and betrayed. So Marvel is not far behind, folks. They just, they're okay with DC looking like the bad guy for once. What surprised me a little was just how many of the folks who took offense seemed totally unable to differentiate between my being critical of DC business financial managers and DC editorial team. Never once in my column did I ever question the quality or value of DC editorial product. I would, nor would I, as I think that they have been doing a great job of late. Anyone assuming otherwise simply do not actually understand the entire point of my column. Well, no. If people don't understand, if a large portion of the people don't understand what you were trying to convey, then maybe you didn't convey it very well. I'm just going to say that. Maybe not. DC fans are a passionate bunch. Now, DC Comics haven't been as bad as Marvel. I'll say that. But, well, their YA line has been absolute trash. On the flip side, what did surprise me quite a bit was the degree of truly visceral hatred towards Diamond was out there in the world. That is a visceral hatred you once had, Chuck. I am well aware that the management at Diamond has abused many comic retailers for years, but the dozens of comments that I received suggested that people would be delighted if Diamond folded were chilling in their ferocity. We have had our own deep-seated resentments of Diamond monopoly power, but the fact that they kept shipping product to us despite our owing them huge sums at times requires some degree of loyalty, which is exactly what I expressed. My primary concern in all of this, however, was and remains the outcomes that are being forced upon us, all of us direct market retailers. Okay, this outcome that's being forced upon you was something you created by not innovating for 2 decades. Chuck actually has tried to make that happen, but Chuck is about Chuck. Okay, Chuck is about Mile High Comics. He's about Chuck. That's fine. Generally, that's what I am about my shop. The whole shop unity thing. They tried it with Comics Pro and it failed. It just turned into a clique, and they really catered to DC. When I saw them catering to the publishers, I'm like, I'm out. So Chuck, I mean, has a point. You can like DC Comics and not like their business practices. Their announcement of breaking up with Diamond during, riots and looting was horribly timed, especially when shops were getting, their doors bashed in, getting looted themselves. Not a good time to do this. Not a good time to ask shops to have to work a little harder. Now, any other time, I mean, that's business. And that's what this was. This was straight up a business decision. This wasn't, this was based on what Diamond did. So get mad at Diamond. Now, I don't want Diamond to not exist. I don't want Diamond to fold. I want them to have competition. I think it's good. And we've already seen the result of that. The minute they got competition and people pointed out like how poor their service was, it changed immediately. So that tells you competition breeds innovation. It's all part of the free market, folks. And there wasn't a free market with comic books for 2 decades. There was Marvel and DC dictating what you were going to buy. And what Chuck Rosansky, he's the one who coined the phrase diamond storefront. That's what comic shops were. As your boy Zach put it, a franchisee, a diamond storefront. That's why, I wanted to be what comic shops were what they started out to be, which was they did not used to sell new comic books. They used to sell old comic books. They used to be dudes in their selling their collections. That's the model that's going to work in the future. Unfortunately, the number of shops is going to continue to shrink. It's not a growing industry. It will no longer grow. It's had its time. There will still be shops out there. Absolutely. There still will be comic books. What the industry looks like in a couple years, vastly different. And I think there's going to be a huge independent movement. We've already seen it begun. And you know what? This new independent movement began how comics began with The Outsider. What DC is, what Marvel is establishment subsidiaries to establishment corporations who use 20th century models. We are now we still are in a gig economy, and we have now proven that a lot of places don't need to have big billion-dollar buildings, and they can have their people work from home. And I think that's the good that's going to come out of this for certain things. So all of the above having been said, I waited all weekend for some denial of my basic hypothesis by DC, or revelations from other sources that DC had some sort of concrete or reasonable rationale for what I was unaware. Okay. Listen, Diamond created this. That's it. None materialized. Instead of a brief column was written by Peter David in which he suggested that DC was trying to cripple Marvel by putting Diamond out of business. That seems extreme to me, but in the absence of anything from DC about how exactly their rash decision was going to help direct market retailers, I have to at least give Peter's hypothesis at least some measure of credence. No, I'm good. Listen, there might be something to that. But instead, let me counter with this. DC is ending the comic book. This is the first step of ending the floppy comic book, what we talked about on Friday. That's what this is. Their decision has already been made. Of course, they're going to distribute through their 3 distributors. They have changed the day they're going to release comic books to a book release day, and they're going to go to more of a book market, which is what a lot of the Indiegogo campaigns are about. 3 or 4 comic books a year, more prestige, a little more expensive. You get more for your money. You get some bells and whistles, and that's probably the future right now. The weekly comic book is dead, so this is the first step to get rid of that. So the subscriber model is gone. This goes on and on. We're not going to read the whole thing. So that's my theory, is DC's beginning the end. So, and if it hurts Marvel along the way, all the better. Have you seen how Marvel has treated them? It's not like they're buddies. It's not like we're ever going to get a crossover with those two ever again. It's AT&T versus Disney now, and Disney's got its own debt problems. AT&T's got its own debt problems. So, and the comic book industry means nothing to AT&T. So this decision meant nothing. Chuck Rosansky's scathing comments mean nothing. They don't care, and they won't care. So it's good to have that knowledge when forging ahead. It's like, all right, they don't care. I still need to be in business, so I'm going to have to put up with this. Or don't sell DC product and see what happens. I wouldn't recommend that. I absolutely wouldn't recommend that. But listen, Chuck Rosansky has forgotten more than I will ever know about the comic book industry. I don't pretend to know a tenth of what that guy knows. He practically invented the model, okay? And I remember seeing Mile High Comics ads in my comic books when I was a wee little lad. So I'm not going to have that much hubris, but I'll just say it's pretty obvious what DC's doing. Phasing out. Can't assist much, but here's a tiny amount to help with your wife's lost income. Kent Barnes, thank you for the $10. Anything is appreciated, and if you're not in the position, please don't. I mean, a lot of people out there are out of work. I mean, thankfully, you didn't hear that a lot of people have gone back to work and are going back to work, and that's good. And for those of you who aren't, you have my greatest sympathy. I hope you find something very, very soon. Hale Burks, I've watched you for several years, and you're my favorite YouTuber. You give voice to how many of us feel. All the love, one day at a time. Viking Man 65, thank you very much. One day at a time. Friend of Bill W, $5. And, that relates to anything, actually. Especially now. You want to plan ahead, of course, but you don't want a future trip. Focus on the here and now. Focus on what I can do, what I have power over. And what I could do yesterday to help things was go try to shop and help some comic shop owners. Scottish Nerd for £5. First time rewatching Blake 7 since the 80s. I am struck by how much it resembles Gene's Andromeda. Have you watched Terrahawks by Jerry Anderson? I have not. It probably, there's a lot of, there's a Delta on its side. There's a lot of Star Trek in there. Axolotl World is a member at the proto-molecule level. Welcome. And we have PJ Riddle for $10 Australian. Hi, Gary. Love your content for a long time now. Could you shout out Freedom Comics and Collectibles in Toledo if you haven't already? They're awesome and open. Find them on Facebook. Keep safe. Absolutely. Be my pleasure. Hang on just a second. They were called Freedom Comics and Collectibles. Let's take a look. There we are. Let's see what we got here. All right. And if we go to article, you can kind of see it there. Can't really do much with that. But where are they located? They're located on 2746 West Sylvia Avenue in Toledo, Ohio. Zip code is 43616. Their number is 419-266-8404. They are open today from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. in their time zone over there. There you go. There's a lot of comic books on the wall. They're open. They have a rating of 4.8 out of 5 stars, which is damn good out of 68 people. It's hard to satisfy everyone. We are a comic book nerd shop. We opened our store in Lebanon, Missouri in 2014, and we recently branched out. branched out and moved the store to Toledo, Ohio, and we are now open. If you are looking for a store in Missouri, please visit at Freedom Comics Lebanon. There we go. Excellent. Sorry you can't see all that, but there you go. Shout out to, and if a comic shop wants a shout out, just hit me up. I'll be happy to do it. If you're open, anything I can do to help would be my pleasure. Would be my pleasure. Mrs. Nerdrotic's doing hair. It smells like hairspray in here. Rebecca Gold for 5 pounds. Avon, I was waiting for you. Don't know what that means. You don't know what that means? You will do. Have a coffee on me, mate. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate you. And Sunday, we're doing something, right? Yeah, Sunday. Hail, Gary. Okay, thank you, PJ Riddle. And Darth DJJD for $2. How about Midwest? As a kid, left San Francisco to Missouri. How you liking it? Pretty much everybody across the board says they're much happier and things are less expensive. Chris Nimitz for 10, I'm going to say Polish pesos. Hey, Gary, greetings from Poland. Very good channel. Thank you. The land of the Witcher. The land of the Witcher. Alan Rogers for $5. Any thoughts on the new YouTuber strategy of ignoring super chats, then telling your viewers you hate them? That's a bold strategy. Alan Rogers, that is some out of the box thinking. Let me think about that for a second. Dan Shaheen. Yeah, okay, people are passionate in the comic book industry. So that's why, and so same with Hollywood. That's why they spurt out like little children, their little fifis, when they get their fifis hurt. So number one rule of YouTube, thick skin or GTFO. You got to have thick skin, especially if you're getting in an industry. And Dan's finding out that there's a lot of people really pissed off because they have been abused by the creatives in this industry. The fans did not start this. They are reacting to being called the worst things possible by people they supported for years and gave money to. So that is hurt feelings right there, and their feelings count too. So Dan Shaheen on his live stream yesterday with Dan Didio spurged out at the end and went off on people simply asking him to read his super chats. And he said he couldn't see him. So I was lurking. I usually don't like to derail stuff. And I just told him that, like what I'm looking at right now, there's a viewer activity screen within your YouTube studio where you can see them all. Now, sometimes they disappear and pop up, and that's why you do super chat square ups. But that's not how you treat your viewers. Okay. Not saying they're all angels out there. And nobody expects them to be, but we're adults and we can handle that stuff. You had Dan Didio on your channel and only 177 people were watching. It's because it's not because your channel's small, Dan. It's because you say stuff like that and people remember it. It's not very good YouTube etiquette. So yeah, I cringed a lot when I saw that. So I think he thought better of it at the end, and hopefully he does a super chat square up, and I would be happy to show him where he can go to his super chats and read them and square it up. Yeah, not a good YouTuber strategy. Okay. So, that's a little YouTube 101 there. Little YouTube 101. Route 69 for $5 Australian. The capitalist system supports business, but pretty much every big business is anti-capitalist now. Is it in self-destructive mode? No, it's in appeasement mode. This is appeasement mode. They are well aware that of the system they're in. They just feel like if they appease, they will fine. Well, when does appeasement ever work? And again, there's nothing that is unifying that requires full submission. Ever. I am all about unity. I am all about the conversation. I am all about listening to the other side. No problem. But now, if you just simply don't want to have a conversation, you're complicit. Well, that's disingenuous. That's, bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, and I don't bend the knee for anybody or anything. JB Tapia, welcome to the Proto-Molecule level. Thank you. And to the Geologia level, a Battle Hymn 63. Welcome. Welcome. The Barrett BM for $5. Nerdrotic, your show is always entertaining. Keep them coming. I will, and the volume will be better next time. Actually, I've got a new mic. I've got a sound system. It'll be great when I get home. Watch first 2 episodes of Blake 7. Thanks for recommending. Lots of character dying so far. Brian Lewandowski for $5. Yeah, they were not afraid to kill characters, and they weren't afraid to characterize. And there is more emotion. There's more characterization in the first 10 minutes of Blake 7 than there is in the entirety of Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery seasons 1 and 2. By the way, let's briefly go to Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes of Star Trek. This article comes from Sci-Fi. How does Star Trek and its integrated optimism, sense of the future help people in fearful, turbulent times like today? When I read this in particular question, I almost had an aneurysm. I did. I felt it coming on. My eye was twitching. So for years now, those of us who have been criticizing Star Trek for being divisive, for being pessimistic, for being bad, for being poorly written, poorly executed, the show that used to be the perfect vehicle for conveying very positive moral messages through the allegory of aliens. And listen, that's why people on the right and people on the left have always loved Star Trek. Now, Michael Chabon from Berkeley, who is no longer the showrunner of Star Trek Picard, was under this false assumption that only progressive watch Star Trek because it's exclusively for progressives. No, it's exclusively for everyone, or it used to be. It isn't anymore. And that false assumption comes from not knowing jack squat about Star Trek, and the showrunner not knowing jack squat about Star Trek and the messaging within it, and making false assumptions about its fans, and then baking into the scripts, attacking these fans and getting off on it, getting your little nads off on it. So, the inherent optimism of Star Trek has been dead for a while. The inherent pessimism of Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard were on full display. I will say it again. The worst thing anybody can do to the Star Trek franchise is to have Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman make more of it. As long as they're making it, they are killing Star Trek. Bit by bit. So, let's get back to this article. It gives us hope. It gives us an opportunity to think about what could be instead of what is. It projects a vision of optimism, particularly with the current events in which there is no racism, no sexism, and an appreciation of the qualities we need to be reminded of. Sadly, I'm losing respect for, I have no respect for Patrick Stewart. I'm not even going to call him Sir Patrick Stewart. I'm going to call him Patty Stewart from now on. Little Patty Stewart. And Johnny Frakes. Little Johnny Frakes. He's a shill. He's paid to say what he needs to say for these shows. I understand that. But now he's being weaponized against fandom. And this disingenuous garbage, because this is what we have been saying all along. So again, I do genuinely believe that Akiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman want to extend an olive branch, and they're probably going to give it their best shot at making a neutral Star Trek. The problem is, I believe they have been doing that. I believe they did it with Star Trek Discovery Season 1 and 2 and Picard. That is their best. That is their best. The problem is they're inherently pessimistic people. They don't know what optimism means. They don't know what hope means. They don't know what empathy means. They don't know what unity means. And it shows in every single thing they have written. Now, does Jonathan Frakes know this stuff? Dude, this guy's an empty shell that gets filled up by whatever's on his script to direct or to act. Like most of the professional human pretenders in Hollywood, they are empty shells. They are meat puppets. So to hear that now, Star Trek is complicit with what's been going on, with the rest of Hollywood, with the rest of the BBC, with the very divisive and antagonistic Doctor Who. I mean, these shows are mean. I'll never forget the very first comment I got on a live stream when I was live streaming for Star Trek Discovery. I confused it. I misinterpreted it. So somebody piped in and said, this show is mean. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean to the show. I'm trying to be as fair as I can. And the person came in, no, Star Trek is mean now. It's mean. And it was. And I'm like, whoa, it is. It's nasty. It's petty. And that's all it is. Hollywood is petty. These collectively, they are incapable of mending fences. When listen, I long for the days of the a-holes, of the coked up a-holes on yachts. Those were the days when they knew how to have fun. Star Trek was a fun show. People, I don't know. Listen, the Berman era was cerebral, but it was still fun. It still had a bunch of levity. It was fun to watch. It was the perfect thing to come home from a long day at work. You flip on some Star Trek and you wind down your day. That's what I did the entirety of the 90s after my, driving 350 to 400 miles a day for my parts delivery job. I'd get home freaking exhausted and I'd watch some Star Trek for an hour. Oh, God. Now they want to bring it up. Getting caught up here, folks. Crazy Cat Guy. Oh, wait. No, was Brian Lewandowski? Okay, sorry. I'll get to you in Crazy Cat Guy in just a second. Black Tiger 001 for 10 Canadian pesos. Hang on. I need to get to there we go. For 10 Canadian pesos. Please give a shout out to Jeho Heroes World on Instagram. Great comic shop in Markham, Ontario, Canada. They're open for curbside pickups, deliveries, and walk-ins. Tell them Black Pencil Ninja sent you. Okay, I will look that up. Give me just a moment. I will look it up. And it's called Jeho Heroes World on Instagram. Give me just a mo here. And there it is. And we're going to look at it right now. You can see part of it there. Again, I can't resize some of this stuff, but there. And they are in Ontario, Canada. And I will go and check. I love Superman. Oh, hell yeah. Looks like they do some podcasting. Got some magic cards. Yeah, look at that. Oh, original art. Looking dope. All right, let's see if we can find their address. Is that it? There's so many called Heroes World. That's the problem. If we go to his Twitter, I wonder if he's got a link. Yep, okay. There we go. And does it have a... All right, so they're on 8601 Warden Avenue, northeast corner of Highway 7, and Warden, Toronto, Markham, Ontario. Their number is 905-948-1949. They are open for curbside pickup, so you can set up an appointment and help a comic shop out, which is just a good thing to do. All right. I appreciate you, Black Tiger 001. Crazy Cat Guy. You were full of beans on the bagging and boarding stream, and later on that stream, I saw why. New toys. Nice haul from the comic book store. Yes. I got a bunch of Batman the Animated Series figures on card, the vintage one. I'm not really, like the new ones are cool and they're expensive, and I do have some, but I am just straight up 90s action figures are pure heaven to me. They're the best. There's not like 19 points of articulation and they're just a statue figure. It's an action figure. And I don't know, the paint, everything about it is better. It's not as detailed, but it looks more comic book. It just does. I'm looking for, I'm going to change the back of the studio a little bit prior to leaving. There's a lot of Spider-Man stuff there from the animated series. I'm going to be replacing that with Iron Man and Fantastic Four and some X-Men stuff and some Batman the Animated Series. All this talk with Az has, just rekindled my love for Batman. So Psylocke is one of my all-time faves, but I despise the mind swaps trope. Yes. To me, she is a tan Caucasian Brit and not Japanese. How do you think of her? Unfortunately, I think of the latter, but that's when I was reading it the most. But listen, I understand. It's always the first. Listen, Captain Marvel to me is a man. Marvel was a badass character that Jim Starlin wrote, and he's completely erased from the MCU. One of the best characters. So I feel you, Robert. Polaris sucks for $6.99 Canadian. Watch Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Burnham offered a solution to an issue by comparing it to a compass at the North Pole, and Pike praised her. Horrible writing. Awful writing. And that was after a scene where they tried to rip off the Orville. So we have Star Trek made by people who don't like Star Trek. And now the parody has become the real Star Trek in the Orville. I was noticing, I didn't see the video, but I saw the title from JP Egotastic Fun Time, to where you can organize watch parties on Hulu now. So I'm going to look into that, and maybe very, very soon we can do a watch party for the Orville or Venture Brothers. I might want to do Venture Brothers first, and then the Orville. Nicholas Horton for $5. Or £5, sorry. Hail, Gary. I only buy collected trade paperbacks now and Safe Journey Home. Yes, and you can buy them used. You can buy them used on eBay, and they're so much cheaper. And that way you don't give any money to these a-holes. You're right. To us, Star Trek has always been about what could be. Problem is, their version of Star Trek is what their philosophy demands of what could be. Yes, what could be. And that statement is contradictory to what they said about Picard 4 months ago, 5 months ago, a half a year ago. Picard is a reflection of our dystopian society. Picard is a reflection of our dystopia. And all of a sudden, we're optimistic now. Shut the frack up. Wes, hi, Gary. Hail, Gary. Love Nerdrotic and Nerdrotic Live. William Morrow for $5. Right back at you. I love you too. Terry Nation wanted a Dalek crossover for Blake 7. That would have been brilliant. Andy Morley for £2. That would have been brilliant. Have they done one for Big Finish yet? They probably could at this point. 8-inch Mego Hulk. I own an 8-inch Mego Hulk. Is it 8-inch? Yeah, it's 8 inches. Australian $2.99. Women are portrayed horribly on Picard. Feminism? No, it's not feminism. So this is how dumb they are. They think it's feminism by portraying the women like they did in Picard, who were essentially a-holes. But they were trying to show women in power, strong women, and that's their perception of them. Strong women act like men. Asshole men, by the way. That's how Kurtzman sees it. This dude's worldview is up his ass. Give a shout out to Crazy Comics in Columbus, Ohio. Mr. Pelzig for $2. Done. Let me double check that. I'm gonna try to find their website, and it's spelled with 2 Z's. And listen, sorry for the low budget, low tier live stream today. I'm in a living room, and I'm doing the best I can. So here we go. All right, and there's their website. That's good. Hopefully this will all show up. Kind of. There, that's better. And Crazy Comics, your home for comics and more. It's open. It's open, thank God. 5544 North Hamilton Road, Gahanna, Ohio, 43230. Phone, cool comics, figures, gaming, and fun. Phone number 614-245-8845. They are open Monday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., and that's through Thursday, and I can't see the rest. Hang on. I don't know if it's, yeah, it feels like it cuts off right there. I don't want to sign up for anything. Not just yet. But, yeah. Cool. They got a media room. They got an artist alley. Shipping and curbside service. Yeah, cool. Again, 614-245-8854. And the website is mycrazycomics.com. Crazy is spelled with 2 Z's. Check them out today if you can. All right. Oh, boy, you guys with your foreign languages in here. Are you trying to kill me here? Wellum Morrow for $5. Gif way Nalip Dalu Beyond Utan Lemorian Pa Westax Pudo. If we do not wish to be foolish, let us learn the West Saxon tongue. Oh boy. And I come from that neck of the woods. Hail Nerdrotic. I shamed you all. Sorry. Korean Witch in Residence, 5 Canadian pesos. Have been to Heroes World in Toronto, can confirm that they are really good and the customer service is top notch. Hail. That's good to hear. So please check out Heroes World in Toronto. They could sure use your help, and I bet you they would like to, instead of being a charity, would like to sell you stuff. So you give them money and they give you stuff in a fair exchange of goods. There you go. Darkstar76 for $5. With all the talk of Blake 7, I checked out. I love it. I agree. Avon is the best character. Avon is one of the best characters I've ever seen in television. Paul Darrow. Paul Darrow? I'm going to mess his name up. He just passed last year. It's Darrow is the last name. I can't remember the first name. What's it like being the ultimate life form, says Bobby Greer for $2. I have no idea what it's like to be the ultimate life form. You'd have to ask Mrs. Nerdrotic that. But I'm kind of broken down and old, and I'm just happy to be alive. JPRPH1 for $14.99. Hulu watch parties requires. Are you trying to? Okay, one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Family is trying to get my attention. Are you going to come back? Not for a long time. I'll probably be gone. Okay, guys, talk amongst yourselves. I have to say goodbye to my family because I won't be seeing them after this. So why don't you stare at the chat for a little while? We'll stare at the chat, and I will be right back. My apologies, but I do have to say goodbye to them. So wait, hang on. Don't go anywhere. Be safe. Keep your head on a swivel there, Mrs. Nerdrotic.
Yes, dear.
Bye, honey. Bye, son. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, had to say goodbye. I am back. I had to say goodbye to my family. I'm not going to see them for a whole day. Makes my heart ache. Okay, sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Dark Star. Yeah, okay. Blake 7 is dope. It's absolute dope. Bobby Greer, thank you for the $2. JPRPH1 for $14.99. Sorry about that. You're interrupting your super chat. We are resuming it. Hulu Watch Party requires the participants to have an ad-free sub to Hulu, which I have. And the show itself has to be a watch party icon, which is not all yet. I tested it and it was super easy. Okay, I'll check it out. I wish they would do it with the commercials though. Because not everybody can afford the commercial ones, and I wouldn't mind taking the breaks so we can discuss stuff. So yeah, there is another way I can do watch parties. That's not, we'll just say we'd have to meet privately about it. Cause I have a website. I can do whatever the hell I want with. So yeah, there's that. SD Bentley for $10. I've been watching Lost on Hulu over the last few years. It says a lot about the current state of TV when I would rather watch that instead of the vast majority of shows being released now. Yes, that is bad, SD Bentley. Maybe I'll finish it one of these days. I watched the first season and just felt like it was going nowhere. And honestly, I haven't talked a lot about Walking Dead, a show that I loved. And a comic book that I loved. And then there was a point, I'm reading it, I can't tell you what it was, and I'm like, this is not going to go anywhere. This is really not going to go anywhere. And it was one of my hangups. I was absolutely hung up on, I needed to know where the zombies came from. And I remember Kirkman saying, you're never going to know. Now, he might have changed his mind. I never waited around to find out. So I stayed through season 5 of Walking Dead and up to issue 75, I believe. I still have them all. I have my issue number 1. I actually ordered it. I ordered 3 whole copies for the store because it was a black and white zombie book. I didn't think much of it. And it was just because one of my customers demanded that I get it. He's all, you should get it. It's going to be good. So I'm like, all right, I'll get 3 copies. I wish I would have gotten 3,000, to be honest with you, but I didn't. Ryan Champ for $9.99. Hail, Gary. Finally found a copy of Green Lantern 76 from 1970. Got a good deal on it at Doc's Comics in Frisco, Texas. Frisco, Texas. All right. So is Doc's Comics open? Go check out Doc's Comics in Frisco, Texas. And I like the name. Tell you what. A little comic shop 101 here, unsolicited advice. Don't name a comic shop after yourself. No Gary's Comics or Larry's Comics or Bill's Comics, because there's always another Bill or Larry. And it's not very imaginative. I inherited my comic shop name, but I loved it. I love the Comic Outpost. Or, there's a bunch of cool Flying Colors. Isotope's a good one. Comics Experience is a good name. I don't like the X in it, but it's a good name. It's a decent name. Southern California Comics, that's good. That defines your area. But just be creative. It's a creative industry. Be creative. So Doc's Comics in Frisco, Texas is open till 10 p.m. tonight. It's on 2787 Preston Road, 1120, Frisco, Texas. Their phone number is 214-494-4443. Hail, Doc's Comics. Maybe I'll go there someday. Buy Family Nerdrotics, a Scottish nerd. I will send that. On the way for £2. Thank you, Gregory Ben, for 35 Zardazes from South Africa. Hail, Gary. What is your top 5 current space sci-fi series currently running? I know that it could be difficult. I don't have 5 that are currently running that I like. I would say The Orville and The Expanse. The Orville and The Expanse. I can give you top 5 shows that are currently running. That's it. That's how many current shows I would watch right now. So my number one would be, it's tough. But I'll be honest with you, I'm most excited about The Witcher, then The Umbrella Academy, and then The Expanse, The Orville. Oh my God, what's the fifth? I'm sorry. This is my number one show that I'm waiting for to come back. Venture Brothers. Venture Brothers is my number one show that I'm waiting to come back. I'm pretty excited about The Witcher, but those are the 5 shows currently running right now that I could completely recommend that I love. Ordered Battlestar Galactica 2004 Blu-ray on eBay, Anti-Trash TV. Yes, Drake is 6. I got the full series, and I think it was some import for $35 on Blu-ray. $35. It's in a little box. I don't know if it's $35 anymore, but that's what I got it for. It was a couple of years ago. Been watching the super moronic action-esque show like Thunderbirds called Nebula 7075 on YouTube, made by British folks in quarantine. Hashtag defund the BBC. I saw that. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the thumbnail. I'm going to check that out. Kip Ellis, thank you for the phallic unicorn for $1.49. I appreciate it. Jason Smoot for $20. Hail watching from my phone while lake camping. Oh, well, I'm glad to be joining you on the lake there. Enjoy it. You mean enjoying your summer vacation? Wow. Nice. Nice. I'm checking to make sure I didn't miss any. All right. So, Darren Ingalls, thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. I appreciate that. I missed that earlier. My apologies. Just making sure I didn't miss any other ones there. Third Gunman. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of cringy YA comics coming out of DC, and it looks like that's going to be a cottage industry for us here on YouTube for a while, and I'm looking forward to that. My next video is going to be about, what I've been talking about in the last 3 live streams, but I'm going to try to show some data on why I believe DC is ending the comic book. I'm not the only one who believes this, by the way. A lot of people believe this, including other shop owners, and the smart ones are preparing for this. They're preparing for this. And then, a lot of people have been talking about my latest Star Trek video from about a week ago, and how pessimistic I sounded, and I was. We're not going to get anything good. They are not going to fix Star Trek anytime soon. Now, if they sell it, sure, but they're not acting like a company that's going to sell Star Trek because they're continuing to make stuff. And if they sold it, would the company who buys it, I think they would, I don't know entirely how the contract is written, but I think it's out there that they would have to inherit Kurtzman. If CBS Viacom is currently in a 5-year contract with Alex Kurtzman, if they sold the company that's producing, sold the franchise while a company is producing it, wouldn't you have to buy that, at least buy out that contract? Somebody would have to buy out the contract and get out. Now, that is a possibility. But other than Grace Randolph running with the rumor, and then Doomcock heard from his sources, and he heard from multiple sources, and I've heard that too. Even if that happens, it's minimum 5 years until we get possibly good Star Trek. It could still suck. It depends on who gets it. So, I mean, I'm not young anymore. And in 5 more years, after the damage that's been done to the brand, how much is it going to be worth? Dick. That's what it's going to be worth. What you're going to get is comic books and books. Remember that, the dark years of Doctor Who, the dark years of Star Trek. That's what it's going to be. You're going to get comics and books, and people are going to get really into those, and then they're going to wipe that canon out and bring something new. Now, the person who brings in new Star Trek or someday new Doctor Who, could they wipe out what came before? Well, it'll be easier to do with Star Trek than with Doctor Who. I would say it's utterly impossible as long as the BBC is going to own them. That's why I brought up the police box. The police box is very problematic. It says the word police. So I think Jodie Whittaker's doctor should use a brand new TARDIS, and that would be the last recognizable thing from her show. So I am all for them removing the TARDIS from Jodie's, and maybe it'll happen. I'm waiting for that shoe to drop. So shout out TBS Comics in Pensacola, Florida at Fort Walton Beach. Okay, done. Done. Oh, and I'll give you guys, I'll give you the update on what's going on with the move. So it's going to be in phases. I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's not ideal, but none of this is. None of this is. I'm not rich. I am a middle-class dude. My wife makes and always has made a lot more money than me. She is very good at what she does. She's very established in her town. So people always ask, why do we stay in San Francisco? Well, that's where all our clients are. That's where we had to stay. Okay. It wasn't really a choice. And she came from, and she had no privilege. She went out on her own, earned her own money, got her own business. I've done the same thing. I used to be homeless. I used to live under a bush in this region of town. I've earned my own way. No, I've had help from a couple friends, but no gifts. My privilege card wasn't working. I'm sorry. Let's see. But I'll give you guys some updates on that. All right. Here we got TBS Comics. And I'm looking for their website. There we go. And they are in Pensacola, Florida. All right. Oh, looks like a bunch of nice people there. Here we go. Here we go. TBS Comics, cards and games. And Fort Walton, and their number is 850-244-5441. And in Pensacola, it's 850-474-1419. Where's their address? Okay, so they have two locations. It is Fort Walton Beach, which is 555 Mary Esther Boulevard, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, 32548. And then Pensacola is 6895 North 9th Avenue, Pensacola, Florida, 32504. Again, the phone numbers are there. Their website is tbscomics.com. And they look like a comic shop. Dragon Ball Super. Warhammer 40K. Look at it. There you go. There you go, you Warhammer fans. That's a shop where you can find some Warhammer 40K stuff. Look at that. Big old staff right there. They're all smiling. They want to sell you a comic book today. Do it. Do it. All right. Augustin Alvarez, welcome to the Geloja level. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Huron the Steadfast for 20 Canadian pesos. With everything going on, I am worried about Lord of the Rings. They are coming for it, aren't they? Yes, absolutely. I think the best case scenario is it doesn't get made. But it's not a question. There's no question now. There is no question. Hollywood is scared to death right now. And they supported a lot of what was going on. And again, I need to separate this because of the disingenuous assholes out there. Peaceful protests against what happened to George Floyd and police brutality overall, great. Do them all day. I have no problem with it. I have actually felt some police brutality in my life. Doesn't make every single one of them bad. And you most definitely don't want to defund them and replace them with nothing or something worse. Again, look at your history. Look at the American history. Now, again, does it require reform? Yes. I would start with getting rid of the union. Can't have reform with a union protecting bad cops. That being said, violence, looting, stealing, killing, these are things we can denounce. And over the last couple of weeks on Twitter, you couldn't denounce it. Well, yes, I can, because Twitter has no power over my fracking life. I don't care what happens on Twitter. And I will. And what they've done is hurt their own movement with allowing the violence to continue. And comic shops have been okay with it. Like, thank you for destroying my store. That's why I didn't put, there's one comic shop in particular, I didn't put their link to their GoFundMe, which is almost at $40,000 because they said that. It's like, and they're also donating that GoFundMe to organizations instead of the shop, which is what it was originally created for. Any comments about J.K. Rowling getting canceled? Thacio for $1.99. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You play manipulative games, you win manipulative prizes. There's no way to win this game because there's no rules. And what's the point of it? I mean, J.K. Rowling clearly loves attention. She has all the money her and her heirs for years will ever need. She could just go live her life, go chill, but she is on Twitter telling us what she thinks. Listen, the reason she was able to write one story well, a kid's book well, is because she wasn't a very good teacher. She was unemployed, so it allowed her to be creative. I don't know if I want to hear what she thinks about the world from her mansion with 18 rooms. Now, by the end of this, will she be, I don't know what the term for it is, based, red pill? I don't know, probably. Who knows? But as far as, I heard Daniel Radcliffe came after it, dude. You really get to know people during these times. You really get to know about loyalty. Loyalty is a pretty important thing when it comes to friendship. Now, nothing is absolute, okay? But if one of your friends pops off, especially when it's J.K. Rowling, if they can come after J.K. Rowling, they can come after anybody. Nobody is safe. Unless you don't play. And it's easy not to. Just got here in 1 or 2 weeks. Please check your P.O. box. I will check it on the way home. Peppermint oil capsule. Thank you for the $2. SD Bentley for $10. Just spoke to the owner of a local movie theater near me. They're planning on playing The Lord of the Rings if they're allowed to open before Tenet comes out. Can't wait. Oh, where is it? SD Bentley, where? If it's close, I will go. The Talons of... I recommend every movie theater do that. Play the extended version of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. People will come. The Talons of Wang Chang for £1.99. Buying Blazing Saddles on DVD before that disappears. Any second now. Any second now. Golden Brem for £2. Umbrella Academy is in the top 5 over The Boys. Yeah. Well, I mean... The Boys has been rough for me because I'm a bit compromised on that. I've been very open about that. That's why I don't want to be friendsies with too many creatives. I am friends with one of the people who created it. So I liked the first season of The Boys. I had to get over some problems I had that were changes from the comics that were done for feminism and the Me Too era. Once I got over that, there were some very good performances and it was good, but it looks like it's going to go full on woke. And as much as I love Derek, Seth Rogen, there's a lot of people in Hollywood who've changed my mind about them recently. So yeah, it's a struggle. I'll be honest with you. It's a struggle. It's a struggle, but The Boys is in there. Yeah. The first season of The Boys was damn good. But you know what? I was surprised by the Umbrella Academy on how fun it was. Cliff Hansen for $13. Hail, Gary. Just discovered you. You're amazing. Rock on. Why, thank you. You're amazing. You're amazing. Are you into pen and paper RPGs? Any recommendations on an RPG that should be a live action show? I'm not into them, but I'm aware of them. And wasn't The Expanse, didn't that start out conceptually as an RPG or a game? It did start out as a game. I don't know if it was pen and paper RPG. I would try The Expanse. It's a damn good show. As far as RPGs, yeah, I'm the last person to actually recommend. Talk to Comics Division on Friday Night Tights. He will recommend you some. Hulu Watch Party. JP said the ad subs could not sync properly. Whoever starts party can pause, review if you have it already. Cool. Not worth the $4 though. Okay. Yeah, it's easier. You know what? I could do my own watch parties. There's a way to do it. EFAP does something very similar. The new TARDIS, a porta potty. Yes, Dr. Pooh, tactical or practical for $10 for 2 Canadian pesos. Exactly. Would the rework of the TARDIS, would it be the retardis? Yes, it already is the retardis. Jesse Howley for $2. Von Doofus for $1.99. Gary, favorite top 3 bands? Go. Pink Floyd. God, Oingo Boingo. Dead Kennedys. Lonnie Holcomb for $2. I've been to that shop when I lived in Crestview. Awesome. Awesome. My favorite bands change a lot, but I guess my all-time favorite band is Pink Floyd. The Beatles is in there, but it's such a basic answer. But bands that were like influential in my life, I was just obsessed with Oingo Boingo through my teenage years and obsessed with the Dead Kennedys. And I was in the punk rock scene. Descendants, Subhumans is my favorite British punk rock band. RKL, Bad Brains. I have a huge punk rock singles collection. JFA, Jodie Foster's Army. I was a rebellious youth. I also liked a bunch of metal, like really evil metal. I was one of those punk rockers because a lot of times punk rockers didn't like metal. I liked them both. But Pink Floyd I love Pink Floyd. But I also like, Jane's Addiction. I like Jane's Addiction for a long, long time. If you ever see it in my office, I have a guitar, an Epiphone signed by Jane's Addiction. Shout out to Deep Comic Book Store in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, let's do it. Deep? Is that what it's called? Yep, there it is. We'll go to their Facebook. And if we go over there a little bit. All right. So they are on 2310 Memorial Parkway Southwest, Huntsville, Alabama, 35801. Their phone number is 256-5312. I'm sorry, 256-532-1292. Lost my train of thought there. Are they currently open right now? They're open today, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Look at these guys. They're opening till 9 p.m. This is how you do it. Like the song says, this is how you do it. Damn straight. Shit, my first day open, I'd be open 24 hours. No shit. J Paula 821 for $10. Games Workshop bent the knee, and the Commander model they made to help hobby shops turned out to be a disaster. Hobby shops are going back into bad habits, like my LCS probably. I'm done with hobby shops. Yeah, and hobby shops there used to be a great one in San Francisco called Franciscan Hobbies down the street from my shop, and it went out of business. Check your mail, brother. Little gift from me to you. Oberon, thank you for the 20 Danish krona. I am checking it when I get home. I have to go to the bank. I have to do a lot of shit. And you know what? Taking days off just for a YouTuber, it's too bad you can't put something in vacation mode, but oh well. Rubber Chicken Comics Bellingham, Missouri, reopened today. All right, let's check them out. Mark Alcatraz for $2.99. By the way, that was Michelle for $4.99, shouting out Huntsville, Alabama, the comic shop, the Deep Comic Book Store. So we're going to go to Rubber Chicken Comics in. Let's get all that. There we go. Rubber Chicken Comic Books. There we go. Interesting name. Rubber Chicken Comics. They got a Facebook. Here, we're going to go to them real quick. Yes, did see the Bill and Ted trailer. I liked it. I thought it was good. Hopefully it doesn't go full on woke and become about the much braver, much more stunning and brave daughters. So here we go. We have, well, that doesn't help me very much. Okay, so 15 North Main Street, Bellingham, Massachusetts. Is that it? Right there? Yeah. 508-96621. That's not what I read, though. Is that what I read? Yeah, Massachusetts. Okay, my bad. Sorry. And their phone number is 508-966-2210. And they open today, folks. They open today. Congratulations. The world is opening back up. They're open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Go check them out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to be shutting this thing down in 13 minutes because I'm going to a comic store. I'm only going to have an hour to shop there. Wait, if I get there, I get there at 2:30. And I'll be home later tonight. Boop, 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 boop. Az sends a phallic unicorn for $1.99. Hail Az, heel versus Babyface. Go check out his channel. Great channel. Good friend. And bagging and boarding was great yesterday. I had tons of fun. No good for 20 Canadian pesos. Love the channel, even when dragging or making fun of woke disasters. This is an infectious. There is an infectious positivity in your videos. Just Twitter DM'd you something going viral. So shout out to Big B Comics in Hamilton, Ontario. Big B Comics in Hamilton, Ontario. Let's go there. Big B Comics. Something's going viral. Okay. Well, God, I hope it's not me. No, just kidding. Big B Comics. Here's their homepage. Do they have an address on here? Oh, wow. They have a bunch of locations. Let's go to their Facebook, though. All right, so I'm going to read out their address now. So it's 1045 Upper James Street, Hamilton, Ontario. They are open till 6 p.m. Their phone number is 905-318-9636. Here is their website. There we go. There's the part of their website anyway. I had this formatted for something else, so it's hard to. But they have 3 locations, man. So one in, where is it? Flagship location. It doesn't really say though. Big B Hamilton, Big B Niagara Falls, and Big B Barrie. So check them out. And it's bigbcomics.com. bigbcomics.com. And yeah, I try to be funny as I can in my videos, but some of them are pretty serious. Happy to be alive, like number 5, Gary. Yes, see tab 76 for $1.99. Everyday breathing is a day full of opportunities. Cultural Casino for $1.49. $1.49. Thank you for the phallic unicorn and hail Cultural Casino. Check out the channel. That is a good dude right there. Crazy Cat Guy for $5. My local comic shop is open for business. Dr. No's Comics and Games Superstore in Woodstock, Georgia. Oh, there's a Dr. No's in the Bay Area too. Planning a trip to the store this weekend. Excellent. Excellent. We'll shout them out before we end the show. Moons of Madness for $5. I'm going to guess that the TARDIS chameleon circuit will be repaired for good. Oh, I'm guessing that's happening very, very soon. For sure. Thank you for the $5. Horace Cock Johnson for $5. Jerry Maguire playing music playing You Had Me at Oingo Boingo. Hell yeah. First 3 albums are some of the best albums ever made as far as just music is concerned, and new wave. Only a Lad. Nothing to Fear. Good for Your Soul. My personal favorite is Nothing to Fear. Gray Matter is a great song. Great, great song. SD Bentley for $5. The theater that might play The Lord of the Rings is in Grass Valley. I'll keep you updated when they're open. About music, do you like the Strokes? I don't hate them, but I'm not the biggest fan. I loved the Knack. I did. The Knack's first album was badass. And I'm also a huge fan of the first 3 albums of The Police. The Police. The Police are problematic now, too. Mary W. is a member at the proto-molecule level. Okay, thank you and welcome. We're going to close this out with shouting out Dr. No's Comics and Games Superstore in Woodstock, Georgia. Always on my mind. Always on my mind. Because I'm going to go to a comic shop. I'm going back to Southern California Comics, and there's a big-ass Batman statue I have my eyes on that I'm going to buy just to make Az more jealous. Because I live to make him envious. No, I don't do that. It's badass. It's just a badass statue. And I usually don't do statues because I break the shit out of them. That's why I never had too many of them at my shop, because I'm clumsy. I'm a clumsy person. It's hard to, it has something to do with my sight being bad, and I have no peripheral vision, but I am a very clumsy individual. There we go. Superstore, Georgia. Is that it? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Oh, I absolutely know this. Where have I seen this before? Where have I seen this before? Why have I seen this before? I've seen that logo before. I don't know why I've seen that logo before. Something rings a bell with this. I don't know what it is, though. But we'll shout it out anyway. I don't know. Something's ringing my bell with this one, and I can't remember. All right, so it's 3372 Canton Road, Street 104, Marietta, Georgia, 30066. And the phone number is 770-422-4642. The website is www.drnos.com. They're open till 8 p.m. tonight. You want to support a local comic shop. You want to do it right. Don't do stupid ass virtue signaling exchange of goods. Fair exchange of goods. You give them cheddar, they give you stuff, you're happy with what you got. And that's why you support them. And you know what? Buy back issues. That way you don't support Marvel and DC directly. Go get some back issues. Go hit the dollar bins, and they'll probably give you a deal. You know, if you go to Southern California Comics, if you get 12 comics in their dollar bin, it's $10. So you get 2 comics for free. And they don't put shit in their dollar bins. I just got a bunch. You saw it on the bagging and boarding. I got a stack of Geffen Justice League International. That is fracking gold. That is some of the best Justice League ever written. Ever written. And thanks to Az, I mean, like, I've always been a lifelong Marvel guy. So my DC back issues are limited, and it's like opened up this whole new world of comic collecting for me. I just got a bunch of Silver Age Doom Patrol for like nothing. For nothing. You got to know where to look. And I've got my eye on a pretty massive run of something too that I might show on the next bagging and boarding. So final super chat, Augustin Alvarera for 50 pesos. We'll say, hey Gary, I am the owner of Godfather Comics Instagram in Argentina. If you ever come to South America, come and say hi, and I'll make you an asado. Oh, thank you. So that is Godfather Comics, which is a great name in Argentina. Let's go check it out. Oh, wow. That's a good looking store. Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires. All right. So if you're in Argentina, folks. Whoops. There we go. We are at Avenida Corrientes, 5239 LOC 19, Buenos Aires, Argentina, 1414. Open till 8 p.m. today. Go to thegodfathercomics.com.ar. Maybe you can buy something online. Go help one of your brothers and some of your sisters down there in South America, because we are united as fandom. We are. They will not divide us. They will not divide us as much as they try. All right, I've got to run, folks. I got to do some comic shop. I'm fired up. I need to go shop for some comics and then get my ass home so I can I'm going to record a video tonight. It's going to be a long ass day for me. So I'm glad I had a good night's sleep last night. So everybody take care. Thank you for the 1,100 likes and the 5 new members. And thank you for all the super chats. Thank you to Chris Persia and Mark Zeth and Eric K and Nihilist Shadow and Heel versus Babyface. I love you so much. And I will see you guys later. Not all who wander are lost, and may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.